What's up, y'all? Welcome to Himothy Humble Cooking. And as always, all praise and glory goes to the Most High God, the owner himself of Himothy Humble Cooking. Yo, I'm just a manager, a messenger, a cook. So don't thank me. Thank God, the Most High. So, I got the taste of chapstick in my mouth. Hold on. So, what I want to talk about today, what is my real opinion on black women? How do I feel about black women? Y'all ask good questions. That is it. It's a very good question. So, unfortunately, there was a video of this white woman. She said something about black women, and I'm a little upset that I cannot find it, because I would have rather just played it for y'all, but I can't find it. And it was something she said on Instagram. And it was a black woman I got her Instagram. She was actually attractive, petite, everything. And I ended up unfollowing her after this because of the way when she shared this, it told me everything I needed to know about her, pretty much. And she shared a video. I forgot if she quoted it like this or if another black woman made it and quoted it like this and she shared it, but she shared a video of a white woman, and it said, white woman who's never been black gives her opinion on black women. So already you can tell that the black women sharing this video were pretty much pissed off with what this white woman said. And you know what she said, y'all? She said, black women, y'all are some of the most beautiful human beings on this earth. If only y'all were a bit softer. That's all she said, and that was enough to piss black women off. And the fact that woman shared that told me all I needed to know, because I commented and replied and like, she's telling the truth. Like I 100% agree. That's how I feel about black women right there. That's the end of the video, y'all. No, I'm just playing. If I had to summarize and make a 2-minute video, that's what I would say. But today we finna get into I'm finna go into depth. We finna, that was just the appetizer. But I still got a whole lot to cook today, so this video ain't done yet. But that's pretty much it. That's the truth. Black women are some of the most beautiful group of women on this planet. But y'all F yourselves over because of y'all attitudes, y'all arrogance, and y'all being super delusional. And here's the thing, not all black women fall into this category, but the vast majority of American black women do. And here's the thing. So I had decided yesterday that I was going to do this video. And I learned some more information in between then. So apparently, about 106,000 black women lost their jobs last month, right? And these are like high government level jobs and stuff like that. And black women were the biggest group hit by this. Now, here's the thing. I did pray for black women on this. I really did. I pray for a lot of people. I try to pray. I ain't gonna say I pray for everyone, because I don't know if God want me to quite pray for everyone, because, you know, not everyone is close enough to him. But I try to pray for as many people as I can. I really do. Especially my family. If I see a wreck on the side of the road, I always, I do a lot of praying, y'all. And it's not to, toot my own horn or anything. But I say that to say this. Even though I prayed for black women in this situation, I really don't have any sympathy for y'all. Because the jobs that y'all lost were pretty much the same jobs that y'all shit on black men when y'all got these jobs. And what other race of woman do you know go around saying, I'm strong and independent, I don't need no man? Yes, you can find outliers of every single race of woman saying that. But black women are the only race of woman that not only proudly say they're strong and independent and don't need a man, but also shit on their own group, their own men. Do you know? So, I don't really want to talk about DEI too much because I just really started, I ain't know a lot about this stuff until I just started doing research on it. And I started watching a bunch of videos on DEI, the positives and negatives of it. And where was I going with this? I was really finna get at a point with DEI. Oh, so when George Floyd, R.I.P., nothing against the man, what happened to him? Black people did that outrage, Black Lives Matter and stuff. Oh, that was around the time that I pissed off a lot of people. And it wasn't even intentionally. I was just being myself. And I was calling things just like how I see it. Black Lives Matter. A lot of people in that group have good intentions. But the whole thing, I'm going way too fast. The whole thing with Black Lives Matter was they started because, I'm not going to say they started because of the George Floyd situation, but they ignited because of that. And they were going around killing, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word, they were offing innocent people, stopping random traffic. They were causing more violence than the cops that did what they did to George Floyd. And that's what I said. I'm like, bro, how can I get behind a group of people that's just going around hurting innocent people? And before anyone be like, well, George Floyd was an innocent black person, he didn't deserve that. Bro, George Floyd was a menace to society, bro. Go look up that man. Stop looking at what happened to him. And go look up that man's track history before that happened. And no, I'm not saying he deserved what he got. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not talking down on the man at all or anything. But all I'm saying is George Floyd was not innocent. So, yeah, I face a lot of flack for that. So I don't just look at the names of groups and just be like, oh, I gotta get with that group. That's what black people did. Just because it was called Black Lives Matter, they wanted to follow the group. But where was I going with this? Oh yeah. So that also started the DEI movement, right? And I said this years ago, and it pretty much confirmed it. But what happened when black people got that outrage? The government started to kiss maybe there was a way station. Well, I'm empty, so I don't think it matters. Oh well. Trucks, we supposed to stop at way stations. I didn't see it till now. But I'm empty too, so I mean, it's not like I'm finna go over the scale and be illegal. But here's the thing. What I was saying was, it seems like this country isn't showing that it's not racist. This country is just kissing ass to hide the fact that a lot of the officials are still racist. And you wanna know what made me say that? Was a situation where the black mother and daughter had instigated an issue with that white couple out in where was that again? Michigan? I can't remember the state. I think it was either Minnesota or Michigan. But just look up, you know, white woman pulls gun out on black lady and her daughter. That's the easiest way you can find it. Because people reworded and revamped the video to make it seem like the white people were wrong in that situation, right? And I was one of the few black people talking about, bro, the black people are completely wrong in this situation. Most black people, when it comes to stuff like that, they'll take the side of the black side just because they're black and not look at it. Bro, the white people were literally trying to leave. I don't know what happened on and off camera. The black lady said that she bumped that I might do a whole video on that complete video, because that video kind of pissed me off. And I was saying, like, the white people got in trouble for this. I don't know if the case, like what happened. I'm gonna look that up and look into it. But the white people end up going to prison for that. And all she did, like, bro, if you really look at the video from the whole video, not the edited version that people started to edit, you can clearly see, if you look at it from a non-biased standpoint, you can see that the black people are the aggressors in that video. I don't have an issue with black people. I have an issue with a lot of the shit that they do and say just for the fact of other black people. But then when it comes to jobs and marriages stuff, our own women hate us more than white people. And I'm not saying white people hate black people. Look, most white people I've dealt with in my life were cool and chill people. I've even had a close friend that I worked with in fast food. Coolest white dude I ever met. Back when I used to smoke and be a college student, man used to invite us to his house to just chill and smoke after work every day. And at this point, I knew this man for like 2 years before I noticed the massive Confederate flag he had in his room. And, could he have just been making up for how he really felt about black people? Maybe. But did I ever get that from him? No. Chillest dude I ever met. But, I'm going way off on a tangent while I'm supposed to be talking about black women, but this is where I'm getting at. So, DEI started something, and the country started to kiss our asses again and decided, hey, let us hire a bunch of diverse people, whether they fit the bill or not, just to make it seem like, oh, we're not racist. We love black people. Let's hire a bunch of black women in the government jobs. And when they did that, what did black women do? I'm too good for a regular black man with a regular 9-to-5 job. Or, black women are running circles around black men. Or here's one of the biggest lies that black women like to say. Oh, black women are the most educated group of women in the country. No, actually Asian women are, then white women, then black women. So please go do research. But yes, when black women got all these good ass paying jobs, they were shitting on black men. And this is why, the reason I brought this up is I'm finna explain how my opinion of one of the reasons why a lot of black women lost their jobs is because, and I said this in a different about feminists, the whole point in the second wave feminist movement was to primarily break up black families. I've said this a lot. And black women are the most naive group of women that run with the feminist thing and be like, I don't need no man. I'm strong and independent. Knowing that is complete bullshit. What else? What do I want to say with this? Do you want to know what the government and feminists together came up with of how to segregate and set back black people? You want to know all they had to do? I should have said this before I brought up the feminist movement. But start the feminist movement and then encourage women to go around and say they're independent and don't need a man. Because they knew that black women would have been the primary group of women that were gonna go with this shit. They used black women to destroy their own families and set black people back as a whole, and then turned around and then stripped a bunch of jobs from y'all. Like, well, shit, we gave y'all those jobs primarily so y'all can shit on your own men and become the head of the household, become exactly what the Bible never intended for women to become. We give all the black women these jobs, and if we tell black women, hey, you shouldn't be a mother or a housewife or anything like this, you're better than that. You're better than men. What's that dumbass commercial I used to see back in the day? You had the woman, anything you can do. I'm not even finna do that voice, bro. Anything you can do, I can do better. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't, bro. That dumbass shit. Bro, that was just pushing feminist beliefs. Black women aren't trying to be equal with black men. Black women are trying to compete with and show that they're better than black men. Do you know what other race of women primarily do when they get really good paying jobs? They work the job. They'll help their spouses get the job, like Latino women. They'll either help their spouse get the job or work with their spouse and take all that money that they're making and go and put it back into their family and save it up. You know what black women did with that money? They go on spending sprees, don't save a damn dime. And then when they get their job stripped, they're like, oh, now I'm finna be homeless and I can't feed my family and I'm finna lose my car. Weren't you just making 6 figures? What happened to all that money? This is what happened. Feminists gave y'all all this fake bullshit power and put y'all in. While feminists gave y'all the beliefs, the country put y'all in a position to actually be leaders in y'all households. Because that's what happens if you give a woman a real good paying job. I said this in another video. Women, and as a whole, this ain't just black women, but black women were the biggest victims of this. Women as a whole, but especially black women, do not respond well to power. But other groups of women still, a lot of them still were taking that money and putting it back into the family. Black women were trying to be strong, independent, single, take trips, get cosmetic surgeries, spend every single penny of the 6-figure jobs they were making, not save up a dime, and now that the government be like, okay, we use y'all to break up families, now we finna just strip that shit right back from y'all. so y'all can realize just how much y'all really do need black men. And here's the thing. They mainly targeted black women. Why? Because the stronger and more independent black women got, the harder to deal with that they became. The lower quality of men that they can attract. Because me, a true God-fearing masculine man, I ain't gonna say I'll never end up with a black woman, but a black woman is probably the least likely group of women I'll end up with. Why? Because the nice, feminine, genuine, humble, good women that fit that description is very already rare in this country in general, but it's especially rare in black women. Very rare do you see a genuinely good, humble, feminine black woman nowadays. They're still out there, don't get me wrong. They're out there. So if I run into one, oh, bro, she'll be the happiest black woman. She'll be the happier that she's ever been when she run into me. And she proved to me that she's truly a good, feminine, humble, God-fearing, virtuous woman. Oh yeah, she's gonna be happier than she ever been. But the chance of me finding that in a black woman is just rare. And here's the thing. So, I'm using myself as an example because, shit, I don't want to deal with most black women in this country. And then, when men turn their backs on women, instead of taking accountability then, like, okay, maybe it's my attitude and my character that's running all these men away. No, black women do anything but take accountability. You know what they do? They say, "Oh, it takes a certain kind of strong man to handle me." Bro, what type of dumbass shit, bro? It's something else that black women like to say that I can't think of, bro. What do they often like to say in them situations? In essence, they often say, weak black men can't handle me. That's the exact opposite. Only the weak black men are the ones that are dealing with y'all. The ones that got some masculinity and truly follow God in their life stray away from y'all because they realize how hard y'all are to deal with. It's not that I can't deal with a strong, independent black woman. Bro, I'm a man. And people may take this the wrong way, but I am physically stronger than 99.99% of black women in this country. Maybe if there's a professional MMA woman fighter out there, then that may be an exception. But what do you mean I'm too weak to handle you if I'm physically stronger than you? And I have the ability to think logically. Primarily, when you're a woman, women in general, they primarily think with their feelings. It's not that I'm too weak to want to handle a black woman. It's that I care about myself too much to want to put myself through that stress. And black women, what do? Y'all do anything but take accountability. Even after your jobs are stripped from y'all, and now y'all looking at us for sympathy. Do you know the same thing happened to black men back in the 90s when all the warehouse jobs were taken away and stuff and given to other countries and stuff. A lot of black men back then lost their jobs. Black women did not give black men sympathy. Do you know what they said? You can't even keep a damn job. Try harder. Now all of a sudden, black women losing all their jobs. Now they upset that a lot of black men, like, I'm not laughing and shitting on black women. It may seem like I'm shitting on black women, but I'm just telling the truth. I love black women, but y'all gonna have to learn to take some accountability and stop letting this country brainwash y'all into turning on y'all own people. Because I'm not done. Do you want to know why the country mainly only needed to attack black women and not even black men? Because again, when you attack the black woman and make them think that their value is higher than it actually is, that they are to help me like God intended them to be in the Bible, they're actually, they more than what God told them they can be. In essence, a lot of black women think they are gods. The only men that deal with strong and independent black women are the same men that will worship those women as gods. That's why I say the only black men that are messing with primary black women nowadays are weak black men. And I'm getting somewhere with this. What am I trying to, how do I want to say this? So, like I was saying, the more strong and independent y'all got, and the more masculine y'all became, the lower quality of men y'all attract. So what happens when y'all start attracting? Because back then, when black women were primarily housewives and wives and stuff, you know, while that still had some issues itself, I understand. Like, there were issues. The first feminist movement wasn't a bad movement. They actually wanted certain things for women. I understand that. The second feminist movement is what started to F everything up. The first feminist movement, we're just trying to get women basic rights. But even voting, like, I don't have an issue that women can vote nowadays. But someone brought it to my attention back then of why women couldn't vote. And it kind of made sense, bro. Which gender were the ones that were getting drafted to war against their own will back then? So, if looking at it from the standpoint of a man that got drafted against his own will to a war he didn't want to fight back then, why would he be okay with women that sat at the house and didn't have to worry about that? Why would he be okay with them being able to vote for government officials? Now again, I don't necessarily have an issue with that. Now there were some issues back then, you know, like some men, and I said this in videos, most men nowadays take advantage of this. And it's gonna get into my point. But most men take advantage of the housewife, submissive, feminine woman because they lack masculinity in God. Like I said in another video, opposites attract. So if a man is primarily feminine and go off of his feelings, he's not gonna want a masculine woman. So back then, some feminine men were taking advantage of the fact that their woman wasn't really counted as a citizen, so they treated them like shit. So that's one of the reasons why I don't really blame the first feminist movement. But the second feminist movement was pretty much brainwashing women into being like, oh, if you want to be a stay-at-home wife and a mother and a helpmeet to your man like God intended, then you're being oppressed. You shouldn't be doing that. You're better than men. You're not just equal to them. That's pretty much what the second feminist movement was, brainwashing women into believing. And I know this video is going to piss off a lot of people. I already know. But look, I'm here to give y'all the truth. I said in multiple videos, if you're looking for someone to pander and tell you what you want to hear, then I ain't the guy. But I keep going off on a tangent, and I'm not getting to the exact point I'm trying to make. When black women became primarily independent and strong, and the most combative women out of all women, the more masculine they got, the more feminine of men that they qualify for. So now, black women, y'all primarily don't qualify for the true masculine godly men that's gonna lead y'all in the right direction and take care of y'all, but at the same time, y'all gotta submit to that man. Now y'all only qualify for either what? Beta males and simps, the feminine men, or pokies and ray-rays. Neither of those three groups of men make great fathers. So what happened was, when the feminists brainwashed primarily black women into thinking they strong and independent and don't need a man, they started to push away all the masculine, good men that they originally would have qualified for. And now they only qualify for weak men. And what did that do? You want to know why black on black gang violence is so bad nowadays? Because all those people that was in them gangs doing all that shooting, doing all this get back, doing all this I'm smoking my ops bullshit, all that came from a lack of a true masculine father figure in their life. You see where I'm getting at? So what did the feminists do? Make black women think they're strong and independent and run away the only men that would have raised those young boys into being men again and continuing the cycle. So now, most kids nowadays, especially black kids, are either, what do they grow up in? They either grow up in a single parent household without a masculine father figure to keep them in check, not, to be a dictator and treat them like shit, but to keep them in check and keep them disciplined. Or they grow up in a household with a beta male simp and they just see their mom disrespect their father their whole life. And when the mom has a dictatorship-like role in the house and mistreat the kids, oftentimes the man will be too weak to even stand up to him. So those kids grow up watching their mom disrespect their father. So that's just as bad as the kids that grew up without a father. And then, we talk about the third group of kids. Kids who were born to Pokey and Ray Rays. Most of them kids, a lot of them kids grew up without a father. But also, a lot of them grew up with a father who was in and out of the house, mistreating a woman, often putting hands on her and stuff. So none of those men that often these kids grow up with are masculine. So what happens? The vast majority of kids nowadays, especially black kids, are growing up without discipline. So in men, that often creates either beta males and simps who are weak, or it creates gangbangers who go around, I ain't cool if I ain't got my get back. I ain't cool if I ain't smoking my dead ops and all this dumbass bullshit that people are talking about nowadays. What else was I finna say? Man, and it turns women, the women that grow up to be strong and independent. What have I been saying? What have I said multiple times, bro? I haven't said it too much on this video, but I've said it a lot, especially on Instagram. And soon, I'm gonna start reacting to my Instagram stories, bro. But I said it a lot. This country, I was saying it for people as a whole, and it really is, but it affects black people way more than it affects any other gender. This country as a whole are making women more masculine, and it's making men more feminine. And again, what happens when that happens? The kids grow up without a proper disciplined father figure in their life. A prime example. I don't want to get into exactly which family member this was, but a young woman family member, still love her to death, but she fallen victim to the system, and there ain't much I can do now. But growing up, I ain't gonna say who she is in my life, but let's say we got the same grandma, right? She grew up with her dad is pretty much a beta male. I ain't gonna get into too much about him, but trust me, he a beta male. So he wasn't there to properly discipline and give her that masculine role she needed growing up. So growing up, when she was much younger, I remember my grandma asked her to take a shower, right? I'm going too fast again. And her always growing up in I saw a cross, may God be with them. I hope, their family is okay. God bless and save all of them. I always pray when I see, when I go and see crosses over the road and stuff. So yeah, let me get back into this. So this family member of mine, she grew up with an older sister, a mother that works a lot, and a grandmother. She don't really have any masculine father figures in her life. So because of that, for one, even though she ain't grown, the way she dresses, it really bothers me. But at this point in my life, I wish I could have been there for her more. But at the time, when she was that age, I was going through a lot myself. I had a lot to deal with myself. But I tried to be a good role model when I was there. And because she never had a masculine father figure in her life, for one, even though she's still a teenager, she dresses, I'm gonna just say she dresses provocatively, but that ain't why I brought her up. So I remember one time when she was real young, when she was still young enough that if a father figure, a masculine father figure came in her life, she could possibly be led the right way. Our grandmother told her to get in, it's time for her to get in the shower. I think it had been like a day. You know how kids are. I was the same way as a kid. We want to just play and do our own thing. We ain't care that much about hygiene at the young age. Now, I ain't saying her hygiene was bad, but our grandmother wanted her to take a shower, right? And she deliberately disobeyed her because without a father figure in the house, she was used to getting her way and disobeying the elders in that house, because a lot of times they would just half-ass get on her about stuff. Now, her mother was a lot more disciplinary than her grandmother. I will admit that. Her mother has issues of her own. So, this family member, so let's say a cousin of mine, grandmother tells her to get in the shower. She don't listen. It's been 5-10 minutes just doing her own thing. Grandmother is mad now, upset. Like, you never listen. You never do what I tell you to do and all this stuff. So me, at that point, I wasn't masculine at that point, but I was the most masculine thing in the house. And, because I was still going through my own trials and stuff of life and learning myself. But I knew enough because I grew up with my granddad in my life. He was masculine, but he kind of had a short temper. So, growing up as kids, we go so far with grandmother. This is my other grandparents, by the way. But when granddad came, oh man, one thing about my granddad, one of my favorite things growing up as a kid, when we used to be in a car with him and we used to be loud and obnoxious because we were so used to being around our grandma. And a few times he was around here, we'd be loud and obnoxious, and he'd get tired and he'll pull over and get out the car and start walking towards a tree. And then, some of y'all younger people watching this, y'all ain't gonna know what I'm talking about. With the older people, older generation, y'all know where I'm going with this. He'll grab a limb and start ripping the leaves and branches off of it. At that point, we are crying and hollering like, "We sorry, granddad, we sorry." Man, I love and miss my grandparents so much. But looking back at that, as scared as I was as a kid, I'm thankful for those moments, and like, you know, I have no ill will against my granddad. I love that man to death. I miss him so much. But yeah, so I had that in my life. So watching my cousin disobey our grandmother, I got upset. Now look, I didn't go do what my granddad did. I didn't get physical or anything. I just told her, like, you hear your grandma telling you to do something, now go do it. She started. After I got on her a couple of times and she tried to not listen to me either. But unlike the woman in the household, I wasn't gonna let it go. I kept getting on her, like, look, you hear your grandmother, go get in the shower. I was firm. And she started to cry. Now, had the grandmother not intervened, she would have eventually listened. But this is what happened. The grandmother intervened and took her side and was like, you being too harsh. I'm like, what do you mean? You was just upset that she wasn't listening. This is why she don't listen to you. She's like, y'all want to be too hard on the kids. She's just a baby. Let her alone and all that. And I'm like, what do you mean? You literally was upset that she was disobeying you. And now I'm taking your side and you gonna get on me? So me and the grandma, other grandma, not my grandma who had the masculine granddad, other grandma. She pretty much was firm. Like, look, leave her alone. If she don't want to take a shower yet, it's okay. She's just a baby. I was like, you know what? It irritated me, but I stepped down because, look, again, at that time, I wasn't there enough to really have a say-so. So, look, if the matriarch of the household didn't want me getting involved, that's fine. Nowadays, when I go see them families members, and I see that same cousin disobey our grandmother, I don't say anything. I don't say a single thing because I tried to help back then, but that's what happens. Yeah, women can be disciplinary on their kids. My mother was disciplinary on me, but she also had a temper, and oftentimes, I love my mother, I ain't trying to slander her, but sometimes my mom had a temper and the discipline would go too far, and I used to have to deal with it. Now, it wasn't abuse or anything, I ain't saying I was getting abused, but mentally I had to deal with a lot growing up with just my mother. Now, my dad was there, but they were in different states completely at that time. And this is when I moved from my grandparents, and a few years I spent with my mother. And yes, black women will whoop and discipline their kids. I ain't saying they don't, but there's still a difference between a woman disciplining the kid and a man. There's that intimidation factor, because my granddad had it. It wasn't even the fact that he was much quicker to discipline us than our grandma, but it was also the fact that he was just this masculine, intimidating man, bruh. And when he got angry, it was something else. All of us were terrified back then. And that's the thing. Kids need that in their lives. Now, growing up early from like 1 to 5, maybe about 1 to 4, kids primarily need their mother because they need breast milk. They need that motherly love. They need certain things that a truly masculine man can't give them as a baby. So, kids need both parents, but when kids get a certain age, they need a masculine father figure in their life. And what did feminists teach black women to run away. All the masculine father figures that would have raised all these gangbangers up. Now, again, some kids can be outliers. Like, some kids are born to be in that lifestyle. But those are exceptions, not rules. The majority of kids that live that lifestyle, that gangbanging lifestyle, that, oh, we gotta rob, shoot, and kill, all this bullshit lifestyle, they're like that because they lack a masculine father figure in their life. And black women, y'all being super strong and independent, run that exact thing away. So they killed so many birds with one stone. All they had to do was brainwash black women into thinking that they don't need their own man. Black women talk more shit about black men than white people do. That's sad. And again, I'm not talking, when I say white people, I'm not talking down on white people. I love white people. I love all races of people. I don't discriminate on any race. But the truth is the truth. Black women seem to be more prejudiced against black men than even the racist white people. And this video has gotten long enough with it. I've said my piece. Black women, y'all are some of the most beautiful groups of women out there. But y'all also the most destructive, the most combative. The only group of people that actively enjoy shitting on their own men. The only group of people that primarily say, I don't need no man, I'm strong and independent. Now, has a white woman ever said that? Yes. But the white women as a whole say that dumbass shit. No. Because even a lot of white women in the workforce still understand that they still need a man. A lot of the Latinos, Hispanic women, other races of women in this country that have good paying jobs in the workforce, most of them still understand that they need a man. So yeah, black women, y'all are super naive. Y'all let feminists brainwash y'all, and y'all let the country, oh my Lord, God, please be with them people right there. Bless them, save them, forgive them for their sins. I hope everything is okay. I just seen it wasn't that bad, but like, just a car that it looked like the wheel was kind of awkward and it wasn't gonna move anymore. That's why I had to get over it. But yeah, black women, y'all are just super destructive. And I know this is gonna piss off a lot of black women because y'all lack accountability in y'all lives. If y'all start taking accountability and realizing y'all need black men, then this is the other thing I was getting at. There aren't many masculine black men around because of that fact. So I kind of get why black women shit on black men so much, because they deal with the beta male simp black men, and that femininity makes their masculinity flare even more. That's why feminists, look, I don't like feminists, I'm gonna be honest. Most of them, like, some people are feminists and think that they think what they're doing is right, but a lot of the higher up feminists know what they're doing. But one thing I will say about feminists, the leaders, they're super smart. Because like I said, all they had to do was make the black woman become more masculine, more combative, and it would automatically trickle in effect. It will automatically destroy and break up black homes. And look at the gang violence, look at the black on black violence. Black women, y'all have the highest divorce rate of any race of woman. But yet y'all the only race of woman talking about, I don't need no man. And then the government doubled down on what feminists did and was like, I'm summing up everything and I'm about to end the video, y'all. The government doubled down on the work the feminists did to break up black families, and it was like, look, let's give black women for about 50 to 40, 30 years, however long, let's give black women these six figures, high paying jobs. They already strong and independent and highly combative. But if we put them in a workforce with highly paying government jobs, it's gonna make them even more masculine and combative. And that's exactly what it did. Because like I said earlier in the video, black women start to shit on their own men. Like, oh, I make six figures. I'm too good for a man that works a 9-to-5 job. Oh, I gotta get over. Yep. That's it. That's how I feel about black women. Y'all beautiful. Some of the most beautiful group of women. If I find a feminine one, a feminine, genuine, humble, God-fearing woman, black woman, you're gonna see me with a black woman. But the chances of me being with a black woman versus any other race of woman is like down here, like almost non-existent. Because when it comes to, again, feminine, genuine, humble, feminine women, God-fearing women, there are less of those than black women. And I know I'm repeating a lot of this stuff, but a lot of people are gonna watch this video and just get mad and not listen. So if I repeat shit multiple times, maybe it'll start to indent in y'all heads. But, and this is one more thing I want to bring up about that. I know some, like, black women are primarily also the group of women that like to shit on women who do want to be feminine. So not only do they choose that strong, independent lifestyle, but as soon as a black woman or any other race of woman decide upload a video of them actually being a wife, cooking and cleaning and doing stuff for their man, it's the black women that get pissed off about that. As soon as a woman actually get on her knees and submit and propose to her man, it's the black women that get pissed off about that. I know black women that can barely take care of themselves, but can cook real good. But then say a woman that actively chooses to be feminine and to be a woman, like a stay-at-home, submissive wife that takes care of the family and be a mother, they call those women weak. Bro, where in the dictionary, let me say first, where in the Bible or the dictionary, but primarily the Bible, because the Bible, I follow the Bible more than the dictionary, but even in the dictionary, you're not going to find anywhere in there does it say a woman who chooses to be a woman is weak. That is some dumb shit that feminists brainwash black women into believing. Y'all have a blessed day.